Good evening and welcome to News in Focus on Sudarshan World, your source for up-to-the-minute updates on current events from around the globe. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta thanking you all for joining us tonight. News in Focus is dedicated to bringing you the latest developments, insightful analysis and in-depth coverage of the stories shaping our world. So stay tuned as we delve into the headlines making waves today. To start with, in a scene reminiscent of past global protests, US universities are now witnessing a surge in anti-Israel demonstrations, mirroring the sentiments of pro-Palestinian activists amidst the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. These protests, characterized by tent encampments and fervent calls for action against Israel, have drawn sharp criticism from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who has condemned what he describes as an alarming rise in anti-Semitism within the United States. Led primarily by pro-Palestinian students, these demonstrations demand that the US government cease its economic ties with Israel and exert pressure on the nation to cease its operations in Gaza. Rooted in the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement, these protests have gained momentum following Israeli responses to Hamas actions in October 2023. Recent confrontations with law enforcement underscore the escalating tensions surrounding these protests. At the University of South California, authorities began arresting anti-Israel protesters, while Texas University saw numerous demonstrators detained amidst a heavy police presence. Prime Minister Netanyahu, in a video message shared on social media, expressed deep concern over the unfolding events, likening the situation to historic instances of anti-Semitism. He criticized university leaders for what he deemed a regrettable response to the protests, highlighting incidents of violence against Jewish students and faculty members. He called for unequivocal condemnation of the protests and urged decisive action to address what he sees as a dangerous trend echoes of past atrocities. As tensions continue to escalate across US campuses, the clash between pro-Palestinian activism and Israeli advocacy underscores broader geopolitical divisions and the intricate complexities of the Middle Eastern conflict resonating on an international scale. Coming on to our next story, these recent pro-Palestinian demonstrations at prominent US universities has sparked concerns about the potential influence of external funding sources, including figures such as George Soros and Rockefeller Brothers Fund. The US Campaign for Palestinian Rights allegedly compensates campus-based fellows for advocating the severance of military, financial and diplomatic ties between the United States and Israel. These fellowships, reportedly sponsored by Education for Just Peace in the Middle East, have received substantial funding from the Open Society Foundations, totaling $700,000 since 2018. Additionally, the same organization purportedly received $515,000 from the Rockefeller Brothers Fund between 2019 and 2023. Inquiries raise questions about the intentions behind such financial support, questioning whether the Soros and Rockefeller families endorsed the promotion of Hamas's war aims. Moreover, the involvement of George Soros and his network extends beyond US campus protests, implicating him in anti-India propaganda efforts. India has been embroiled in what some term a perception war since the outset of 2023. On February 16th of this year, Soros capitalized on the Adani Hindenburg controversy to launch a scathing attack on the Indian government, accusing Prime Minister Narendra Modi of crony capitalism. Soros claimed Modi and business tycoon Adani are close allies. Their fate is intertwined. Adani Enterprises attempted to raise funds in the stock market, but it failed. Adani is accused of stock manipulation and his stock collapsed like a house of cards. Soros's assertions suggest impending scrutiny for Modi from foreign investors and parliamentary inquiries. George Soros and his network of NGOs, activists and journalists have been engaged in a sustained effort to portray Prime Minister Modi as an electoral autocrat in need of removal for the purported greater good of the country. This agenda has been underway for a considerable period. The Hungarian-American billionaire has also sought to leverage international institutions, many of which receive funding from him, such as Freedom House and the V-Dem, Varieties of Democracy Institute, to undermine India's global reputation. Talking about reputation, our next story is about Harvey Weinstein, The once powerful Hollywood producer, whose name became synonymous with the Me Too movement, has seen a glimmer of legal reprieve as a New York court overturned his sexual assault conviction, prompting widespread criticism and accusations of a betrayal of the system on a global scale. Key to the appellate court's ruling were criticisms of the trial judge's handling of evidence and testimony, particularly the allowance of testimony from women regarding allegations that Weinstein had not been formally charged with. This decision was viewed as prejudicial and potentially detrimental to Weinstein's right to a fair trial. The ensuing debate has underscored the complexities inherent in prosecuting sexual assault cases, especially those involving high-profile figures and power differentials. Critics argue that such cases often face additional scrutiny and skepticism, leading to challenges in securing convictions and delivering justice for survivors. Moreover, the overturning of Weinstein's conviction has raised concerns about the re-traumatization of survivors and the chilling effect it may have on future reporting of sexual misconduct. Survivors and advocacy groups fear that the decision could deter others from coming forward, fearing that their allegations will not be taken seriously or that justice will remain elusive. As legal experts analyze the implications of this ruling and advocates continue to push for reform, the Weinstein case serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing struggle to address systemic flaws within the justice system and ensure meaningful accountability for perpetrators of sexual violence. In the wake of this decision, the urgency to enact comprehensive reforms and support survivors remains as pressing as ever. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us on News in Focus. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our viewers for trusting us to bring you the news that matters. Your support drives us to continuously strive for excellence in journalism. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories, more insights and more updates. Until then, take care, stay safe. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Hindustan.